It's Monday, May 25th, and this should be actually a fun but simple recording. So, sports news with Sam. When did the French Open for tennis become just Roland Garros? I might be butchering that name. The Avs are down 3 games, and they're done with the Stanley Cup, probably. Actually, I was looking into this. There is roughly a 0.9% chance in the major sports that have 7-game series that someone comes back from a down 3-0 in a best of 7 series. So we're saying there is a chance. Today's topic, and this one I'm taking straight from, you can find it on Reddit and you can find it on Tumblr, but this is about the Carpathia, which came to basically Titanic's rescue, and without it, probably all of the passengers aboard Titanic would have died. So this really comes from a post, what are the best examples of he didn't know it was impossible and did it anyway. And honestly, I think the captain here did know it was impossible and did it anyway. So Carpathia received Titanic's distress signal at 12:20 a.m., April 15th, 1912. She was 58 miles away, a distance that could absolutely not be covered in less than 4 hours. California's exact position at the time is controversial. She was close enough, this is a different ship, to have helped. By all accounts, she was close enough to see Titanic's distress rockets. It's uncertain to this day why her crew did not respond or how many might not have been lost if she had been there. And this is not a place for what ifs. This is about what was done. Carpathia's captain, Rostron, had rolled out of bed instantly when awoken by his radio operator, ordered his ship to Titanic's aid, and confirmed the signal before he was fully dressed. The man had never in his life responded to an emergency call. His goal tonight was to make sure nobody who heard that fact would ever believe it. All of Carpathia's lifeboats were swung out, ready for deployment. Oil was set up to be poured off the side of the ship in case the sea turned choppy. Oil would coat and calm the water near Carpathia if that happened, making it safer for lifeboats to drop alongside her. He ordered lights to be rigged along the side of the ship so survivors could see it better, and had nets and ladders rigged along her sides, ready to be dropped when they arrived, in order to let as many survivors as possible climb aboard at once. I don't know if his making provisions for there still being survivors in the water was optimism or not. I think he knew they were never going to get there in time for that. I think he did it anyway, because you have to hope. Carpathia had 3 dining rooms, which were immediately converted into triage and first aid stations. Each had a doctor assigned to it. Hot soup, coffee, and tea were prepared in bulk in each dining room, and blankets and warm clothes were collected to be ready to hand out. By this time, many of the passengers were awake. Prepping a ship for a disaster isn't quiet, and all of them stepped up to help, many donating their own clothes and blankets. And then he did something I tend to refer to as diverting all power from life support. And again, this isn't my script. This is coming from someone on the internet, but I think it's worth just reading verbatim. Here's the thing about steamships. They run on steam. Shocking, I know, but the steam powers everything on the ship, and right now Carpathia needed power. So Rostron turned off hot water and central heating, which bled valuable steam power to everywhere else but the dining rooms, which of course were being used to make hot drinks and receive survivors. He woke up all the engineers, all the stokers and firemen, diverted all that steam back into the engines, and asked his ship to go as fast as she possibly could. And when she'd done that, he asked her to go faster. I need you to understand that you simply can't push a ship very far past its top speed. Pushing that much sheer tonnage through the water becomes harder and harder with every knot. Knot is a unit of speed for ships, and it's pretty close to what a mile per hour is. It's a little bit, I think, lower. 17 knots is about 19 miles per hour, I believe. It becomes harder for each extra knot past the speed it was designed for. Pushing a ship past its rated speed is not only reckless, it's difficult to maneuver, but it puts an incredible amount of strain on the engine. Ships are not designed to exceed their top speed by even 1 knot. They can't do it. It can't be done. Carpathia's absolute do or die. The engines can't take it. This forever top speed was 14 knots. Dodging icebergs in the dark and the cold, surrounded by mist, she sustained a speed of almost 17.5 knots. No one would have asked this of them. It wasn't expected. They were almost 60 miles away with icebergs in their path. They had a responsibility to respond. They did not have a responsibility to do the impossible and to do it well. No one would have faulted them for taking more time to confirmed the severity of the issue. No one would have blamed them for a slow and cautious approach. No one but themselves. They near broke the laws of physics, galloping north headlong into the dark in the desperate hope that if they could shave an hour, half an hour, 5 minutes off their arrival time, maybe for one more person, those 5 minutes would make the difference. I say 3 people died by the time they were lifted from the lifeboats. For all we know, in another hour, it might have been more. I say they made all the difference in the world. This ship and her crew received a message from a location they could not hope to reach in under 4 hours. They just barely, over 3 hours later, they arrived at Titanic's last known coordinates. Half an hour after that, at 4 a.m., they would finally find the first of the lifeboats. It would take until 8:30 in the morning for the last survivor to be brought aboard. Passengers from Carpathia universally gave up their berths, staterooms, and clothing to the survivors, assisting the crew at every turn and sitting with the sobbing rescuees to offer whatever comfort they could. In total, 705 people of Titanic's original 2,208 were brought on to Carpathia alive. No other ship would find survivors. At 12:20 a.m., April 15th, 1912, there was a miracle on the North Atlantic, and it happened because a group of humans, some of them strangers, many of them only passengers, many of them only passengers on a small and unimpressive steamliner, looked at each other and decided, I cannot live with myself if I do anything less. And let's see, a couple other notes. So Carpathia was sunk July 17th, 1918, during the First World War after being torpedoed 3 times by a German U-boat off the southern Irish coast, with the loss of 5 crew members, which is truly amazing that just a passenger liner roughly would take 3 hits from submarines. And then the other note is that the ship would never reach its top speed again. It just put too much strain on it. There we go. Our merch today is, our sponsor today is the song Freedom Isn't Free, and our merch today is from Build-A-Bear. You can go there, you can get bears.